Hey everybody, real quick before we get started on today's podcast, I want to make sure that you know we can be found on multiple platforms. So other than on social media, if you're driving down the road and you want to catch us on Spotify, just for the audio, you can catch us there. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and more platforms are coming. So stay tuned for that.
Make sure you check out the YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh, check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is where everything will be. It's probably the best viewing experience.
Yeah.
But if you're into that thing and you want more of the audio experience, Spotify is the place to go.
Absolutely. All right, so let's do this. I am Bobby Shanks, and I am the author of the upcoming, soon-to-be-released, highly sought-after, at least in my own mind, book called Undateable. And I have with me I keep wanting to do something really funny. All right, and I have with me our show's producer, Ian Brown.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
So today, it's funny, we're filming today literally in the middle of a snowstorm here in the Midwest. We had a guest scheduled.
Yeah, I'm not in my normal seat. It feels a little weird to be on this side.
Ian's in the co-pilot seat over here. And so what we're going to do, if you remember, we talked about having people send us their top 10 non-negotiable, must-have, got to have it in dating, courtship experiences. And so we were going to wait a week, but we're just going to do this thing today. So
our guest will be back. Should be back next week.
So she'll be back next week.
So look forward to that. If
wait until the end, because Ian, here it is.
So
Ian and I wrote down our top 5. So 5 for me, 5 for him. We have not read each other's. He's going to read mine.
Yeah, I have his top 5 non-negotiables. He has my top 5, and we're going to read them at the end of the podcast. Yeah. So stay for that because that might get interesting.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous because I'm okay with what I wrote. There's maybe a couple items on there that my life is pretty public anyways. But I chose that, and there are some things I'd like to hold back. But for the purposes of this particular topic in today's episode, I'm like, I'm just going to put it out there and I'll be judged accordingly, I'm sure. So
sounds good.
All right. We had several people that sent us their videos, and we are going to play them. We can't possibly play them all. Like, it's literally dozens and dozens of bullet points that people sent us. So we kind of had to just pick the best of the best because there was a lot of overlap. Here's a good example. A lot of people said honesty. Like, it's absolutely a non-negotiable item. So just know that up front. If we don't play honesty as one of the items, that was a common theme. We're looking for the very unique things that differentiate what we're used to hearing. So we're going to play those for you. So
awesome.
Here we go. Let's start with Stephanie Summer.
Okay, so being 46 years old, kids, grandkids, job, lots of interest, busy. I need consistency in the beginning. If we start texting, at least one text a day. If I don't hear from you for a week, I lose interest. If we go on a date and it's amazing, I want a second date within a couple weeks. If it's a month, I don't remember who you are, and I'm not going to stay interested. So I think consistency is number 1 for me.
All right. Thanks, Stephanie, for sending that to us. Consistency. And I'm going to tell you something. She said something else that is so me. I'll lose interest.
Yeah.
So it's not enough to just be consistent. And she said consistency in the beginning to be very poignant on the fact. But she also said I'll lose interest because if the consistency isn't there. And I'm the same way.
Well, there's so many options and there's so many people out there that if someone isn't willing and wanting to be consistent, like from the get-go, like they're just going to go find someone else. And you just kind of have to be okay with that, Fight, pick your battles.
So I'm going to give Stephanie a huge compliment here. Actually, it's not a huge compliment. It's a deserved recognition. And I know Stephanie. She's very intelligent. She is very independent. This is a young lady who does not need a man. She wants a man to sort of round out her life. And she's very attractive. And for those reasons, she is highly sought after. And I don't know. I think I get her point. Guys who probably pursue her sort of haphazardly, are inconsistent. Like they burn really hot for a week and then they disappear.
Yeah, you have to stand out. You have to stand out. I mean, not even just with her, just with anyone. Like if you're really interested, if you don't attempt to stand out, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, totally agree. All right,
who
else we got here?
Who is next?
All right, next we're gonna go to Angela, and let's listen to what Angela's got here.
Hi, Bobby. Hi, Ian. I actually have two non-negotiables for you that probably have the same root issue, but it's two different facets of that. So the first is that I desire a man who understands true courtship, like what it really means to date a woman, whether that be in the early stages or down the road. I think so few men really understand what courtship actually means, or don't understand what it means at all. And then the second part of that is that I really desire a man who is strong and masculine and charming enough to lead me through what I always call the dance of dating. Like from start to finish, a man that truly understands that when they lead, women get to feel like women.
All right, so that was Angela. Let me just comment about Angela for a minute. Like Stephanie, Angela is a very successful young lady, self-employed, and very independent. And a man is something she doesn't need in her life. It's something that she wants to just kind of round things out. Companionship. What I really like about what Angela wrote about, because it's such a freaking hot button for me, is masculinity. Now we could have, actually you and I have had,
and we can talk we could do a whole podcast on
oh my gosh,
that.
The demasculinization of men, and I'm just going to speak for America, it's appalling. And we can blame it on a lot of things, but at the end of the day, speaking as a man for men, we have only ourselves to blame.
Yeah, well,
in my opinion,
what kind of struck me with what she said was she talked about taking the lead, and it's something that we don't really think about a lot, and it's actually something that's kind of being bred out of us as men over generations. Of we want, instead of taking the lead in certain situations, we're starting to take a step back and almost be a kind of a passenger with what the girl wants. If the girl wants to go here, the guy is just along for the ride. If the girl wants to go to a party and the guy wants to go to the football game, you're probably going to the party. And it has nothing to do with anything besides the fact that we're being bred sometimes as men to be the passenger. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I understand that relationships, everybody knows this. Relationships are give and take, and compromise and etc. And at the end of the day, and I'm speaking only for myself, I'm very traditional when it comes to gender roles in the context of a relationship. We've talked time and time again on this podcast. We've seen it in our forums, in our groups, our direct messages. Equality is wonderful. Equality in the workplace,
100%.
equality in compensation. It's all fine. and inside the context of a male and female relationship, I would, I should say, I have been told almost unanimously, women do not want equality. They want a leader. They
Yeah.
want a man who leads.
Yeah, well, they want to be treated as though they aren't a woman in certain way. And what I mean is they don't want to get a certain achievement or reward or anything because of their femininity. They want to because they earned it or because they deserve it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So who's next?
All right, next we got Michelle. We have a really cool topic from her, and it's interesting because it's sort of something that is assumed, and out of everybody that sent us something, she's the only one that brought this topic up. Here we go. Listen to this.
Hi. So my non-negotiable is a sense of humor. Be funny, joke around. Don't take everything so seriously. Be able to text and talk and make me a priority. And don't call me if you're married.
Don't call. And I love the way her face looks. She's like, don't call me if
If you're married. Yeah. and
She's hilarious.
You think this would be a given, but unfortunately, this is, I think there's,
you know what?
respect is important.
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
And I think people need to start respecting.
I want to use this podcast to open people's eyes. Okay. Married people asking single people out, married people asking other married people out, is been around since the dawn of time.
Oh yeah, of course.
I have actually been asked out by a man to go out with his wife. It's happened many times, actually. So this type of, and here's the thing. So I'm going to make 2 points here. One, with Michelle, if it's not your jam, then you can be polite about it. We're in a weird, crazy, multicultural, we're in a pop culture. And number two, I just want to shed light that if something like this happens to you, don't be surprised, because there are a lot of circles and subcultures out there. And I'm not talking about just life in the big city here, folks. I'm talking about rural Missouri, rural Midwest, wherever you, in the middle of the cornfield in Kansas, where alternative lifestyles and behaviors are frankly just extremely common.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, but
Am I freaking you out, dude?
No, but I also think
it's out there.
I think what she's trying to get at is there's an aura of just have some respect. But
I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, I think we can agree to disagree on this one a little bit.
Yeah.
But because I'm very much like monogamy is a thing, like a huge
I'm
thing
right
for
there
me.
with you.
And so I see that as almost a sign of disrespect, but at the same time, I understand that there's not everyone views dating and courtship like how I do.
So just so we're clear, and especially for the context of my book, I am a believer in monogamy. I believe it is very contextual, a part of my upcoming book, and I'm also not dumb. I've walked this earth for a few decades. I've had many experiences. I've been in many rodeos, and I just want to bring light to the world that there's a lot of stuff that goes on out there. And if you think you live in this little bubble of dating, think again. And just mentally, something my dad said to me, or would say to me a lot: know what your answer is, know what your decision is going to be before you get to that place, so that when you get to that place, it's right there. Mm-hmm. You don't have to think, you don't have to look shocked. It's just ready, and you can do it with a smile, and you can be pleasant and move on.
Yeah. If saying no to something like that is your answer, then have it ready.
Have it ready.
And if saying yes to that is your answer, have it ready.
Have it ready.
All right. Who's next?
Whatever your jam is. All right, number 4. Okay, so this is Lindsey Sharp. She joins us all the way from Melbourne, Florida.
Wow.
Lindsey is super duper sharp. I have been very fortunate to get to know Lindsey over some phone calls because her practice, well, I'll just say, I hope it's okay, Lindsey. She does family law practice. And let me tell you, this girl has seen some shit. And she has a lot to say about dating and relationships, besides the fact that she's also single.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Lindsey.
7, you must be a great dad. 8, you must know how to read a room.
Okay, so Lindsey is the only person who wrote, be a man who can read a room. Very interesting. What do you think about that?
You know, it's not something that I ever thought, like, that's not a quality of in dating that I ever thought of. But I can see why it's important. You know, for someone like her who's she's in the legal field and she's in a room full of people that are high level thinkers and stuff, like having someone who is with her who can like navigate those situations.
Yes.
I understand why like she needs someone there that can navigate those situations and not screw up her life.
Let me say something, just a quick insert. Everyone that we're featuring on today's podcast, I know some of them more than I know all of them. I know some of them better. These are very smart, very independent, very career professional women. And if you think so, what Lindsey said was a man who could read a room. And what I heard was, I need a dude who's freaking sharp as a tack, a man who's intuitive, just a smart dude. Like, I don't care if a guy is a trash man. I mean, he could run a salt plow. That dude better be smart. Like for these type of gals, that guy better be intuitive and can read a room and socially navigate.
Yeah.
I love it. And Lindsey, in fact, all of these gals gave us many, but we're just trying to pick and choose. So hopefully, I don't want anybody to think we're being unfair. Maybe what we'll do at the end of the reel, if we want to run some more or something, just
we can maybe put the whole thing together.
We'll just
at
put
the
it
end,
all together,
or
so
put it together.
can read it.
We can put it together as its own video. And
let's do
something like that.
That'd be cool. All right, so next on the list, this is Shara, phenomenal gal. Very, very intelligent. She gave us several items here, but her second one is one that I really want to key in on because I think it's something that whether it makes someone's list or not, speaking mostly for women, I think they all think it, and it's probably not something that men think of, but I will say as a man, I most certainly do. Let's listen.
I think if a guy has a good work ethic, then everything else falls into place. I have a good work ethic. I think our values will line up if that is in the picture.
Amen.
Right, so, and
amen.
Amen. Yes.
Yes.
So it's not that she just said work ethic. She went on to say that things would line up. And I have to agree with that. And let me just say, I have a great role model in my parents because both of my parents have incredible work ethics. Clearly, that is something that was passed on to me.
That same in my life too.
We're the same kind of dude like that. And I think I call it parity. Okay. Now listen, from the book. Okay. There has to be relationship parity. So I want you to think about a teeter-totter, right? So Mr. is here, Mrs. is here, and the idea is to stay balanced.
Yeah,
right? Parity.
level out somehow.
Level
Yeah.
out. And whatever this fulcrum is here in the center, let's call that the topic, right? It could be work ethic. It could be sex. It could be perspectives on raising children. The idea is to have parity. Oh, it could be fitness. Oh my gosh, that's a topic. So in this world of parity, work ethic is huge because you could, for instance, have a spouse, and I'm gonna flip it. Okay, you could have a man who works at home, stay-at-home dad, and you've got a mom who's the breadwinner. That dude may not make money, but he's earning a living, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be parity.
Well, so I'm not going to name the show. I'm not going to go into detail, but Courtney and I, we watched a show, and there's a girl and a guy, and it's a reality TV show. They got married. And
Married in real life?
Yes. And he is a former professional athlete, and they ended up getting divorced. And I could tell that from the start of the show, they were very, very close. And she is actually the owner of a very large company. So they're both very hardworking. When he quit playing, he began to lay around the house. He began to take care of the kids. He began to he lost his work ethic.
Yeah, so he wasn't pulling his weight anymore.
And I noticed her attraction to him completely plummeted. And it was
I totally get it.
It was 100% because the man she married was a hardworking NFL player who busted his butt for his career, and that was attractive to her.
Yeah.
And the second he quit that career,
yeah. You know what? I had a conversation here with one of our followers of our show. And as I do with lots of people who direct message me or occasionally have phone call, video chat, or whatever, the question was posed. So on this thread, what if my significant other has enough money so that they don't have to work? And by the way, I'm going to cite that in this conversation I was having, and it was with a woman who was speaking of a man, not hypothetical, and he was financially in a position to where he did not have to work, and we were just talking about it hypothetically, and the question was, does he still have to work at the relationship? Does he still have to show up as a man? And her response was, oh my gosh, it's even more important because now it's harder. He doesn't have a 9 to 5. Like,
yeah,
he's got to show up for her intellectually in other way, and work ethic in other ways.
Yeah. There's no one answer to this, but 100%. The most important thing is that I completely understand where she's coming from on this point, and it's a big one. It really is.
Yeah, it's a big.
Yep. Who's next?
All right, we've got Michelle here, Heiser, and Michelle is actually a fairly new participant in Undateable, the book podcast. She's got several items here. I want to pay special close attention to number 5. I love this one. Hold on. Here we go.
Someone that I can trust. Someone that's true to me, and he makes me feel special. And of course, I hope to make him feel the same way.
All right. So number 5, she wrote, she said, makes me feel special. I mean, that's a given, right?
It should be, but it's not, you know, like if you need to make the other person feel like they are the only person in the entire world for you. And
it's back to the unicorn with Mark, right? The Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Right.
But like, I mean, it's so important. Like, you need to feel special in a relationship.
Yeah.
And there's people that are manipulative there's relationships out there where people think that they're the special one, and there's another special one on the other side. And that's where trust comes in, and there's more to that than that. But oh my word, like if you don't feel special in your relationship, it's probably not the right one for you.
Yeah. So, personal anecdote. And I always have to kind of I have to think about these because I have to be careful to protect the living, you know. Out of all of my adult relationships, I have been in one relationship where I can admit I did not make that other person feel special as much as I could have. And I have been in a relationship where the other person made me feel special beyond what I felt I deserved. And let me tell you, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have anything to do with sex. It doesn't have anything to do with chemistry per se. It's literally just a personal life choice on another person where they have decided that you are special enough to them that they're going to let you know. And I'm going to look, I'm a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not only that, like I'm a dude in the Midwest. I got calluses on my hands. I probably picked my nose. Like I'm a caveman. And even I can say, I recognize what it is like to be treated special.
Totally agree.
Yeah, man.
Totally understand.
All right, let's go on to another one.
Hey, so by the way, before we go on to number 7, we've had a few people ask, when's the book coming out? Why, you're starting the podcast before the book comes out, but like, what's the ETA
Okay, so
on that?
here's the deal. I'm just pumped. And I am probably less than 2 weeks away from signing a contract with a publisher. Let me just say, publishing a book, like when you want to legitimately publish it where it's going to be available for distribution on every platform worldwide, including all of the editing and it's
a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What an eye opener. So look, let's say June. Let's say June.
We don't have to put a date on it.
On or before June 30th.
Something all around that time
on
period.
Or before
yeah.
June 30th. And I'm starting the podcast and a lot of other things we're doing. In fact, soon enough, we'll actually have a link where you can pre-order the book. And I'm going to also be purchasing books of my own that I can sign for people that are very special to me. And I'm also going to be tying it to a children's charity that's very near and dear. And you know what? I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it right now.
Do it.
Where I'm going to hit it.
Also,
quick pause before we go to number 7.
Real quick, for everyone out there, would you buy some merchandise? We've had a couple people ask us.
People will buy merchandise. We need to get a big shirt that says, I'm undateable.
Yeah. Well, we've had some people ask us like, oh, I love your logo or something like that.
Yeah,
Can we get a t-shirt?
We'll get some
But
merch.
if you want to, send us a message if you'd be interested in some t-shirts or something like that.
We're going to do some merch. We'll do some merch. We got to do cool stuff though.
Yeah.
Like some Gucci handbags.
Yeah, we're not
that say undateable or something.
Something like that.
Actually, I just want a beer drinking hat, like what I got on right now. Well, this is the whiskey drinking hat today, which is ironic because I'm not even drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
So, what was I going to say? Oh, listen, we have a charity that is very special to me. And this is totally impromptu. This isn't even on our thing that we're going to talk about. It's called Mary's House of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with it because we've done this charity before.
They do amazing work.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what this is. This is a home where women and children that are faced with
domestic abuse and violence and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
And when these women reach the point that they've just had enough for the last time, right? The last time this week, or the last time in 20 years, and they need the big red abort mission. I need help, and I need it right now for my own safety.
And my kids' safety too.
And my children.
Yeah.
They go to Mary's House of Hope. And here's the thing. It's secret. It's hidden.
Nobody knows where it is.
No, I don't even know where it is.
Yeah.
And I give and support it. But it's a charity that's run and maintained through our sheriff's department. And to say that it has reset the lives of battered women and children for years and years is an understatement.
Yeah.
So when we sell merch, I mean, the merch has got to pay for itself, right? I'm not doing this shit to make money. I'm doing it because it's cool. And people need to talk about this stuff because, single people are basically in the shadows and nobody talks about us, cares about us. But we're a huge, think about it, 50% of you listening or watching have been divorced, and you've been where I'm sitting right now. So basically it's 50% of the adult population. Single lives matter too. It's not just all the other lives that matter. So anyways, watch for our merch. It's coming up. Are we ready to do this? We're going to go on to our last one.
Yeah, it's our last one.
And then we're going to talk about our top 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel really weird reading mine. Okay. All right. Next, number 7. This is Gail. And we're going to talk about her very first point here because it is a common theme. And I think it's something that men and women can agree to. Here we go. Listen to this.
These are some of my must-haves, things that are important to me, non-negotiable. You have to have a sense of humor.
Okay, so Gail says you have to have a sense of humor. And I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, there are different types of humors. And for those who don't live in St. Louis, because our audience is growing. Like we have a following in Oklahoma now. We have people in Texas, Florida. It's growing. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, by the way.
Yeah, and thanks. Thank you.
you.
I want to add, because you and I have never talked about this. I never understood sarcasm until I moved to St. Louis.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Wait
a minute. Are you being sarcastic?
all I know is sarcasm.
That's everybody in St. Louis.
That's all I know. It's completely sarcastic. It's
like
everything's sarcastic.
From rural Midwest. Like I had 20 something kids in my high school class. Okay. And we were a huge class. Like when something was funny, it's because it was funny and you didn't have to guess if it was funny or not. Like you didn't have to look at somebody to see if they were giving you the skunk eye.
Yeah.
To determine if it was funny or not.
I've never heard that before because I grew up with complete sarcasm with everyone I met. And I'm honestly one of those people that like I am gullible enough that I don't pick up on it. And
that's me.
But
that's me.
At the same time, I dish it out like all the time. It's the only humor I understand.
Yeah. So I've been here 20 years, so I'm from St. Louis now because I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else. I'm not a fan of sarcasm, but I will say in the context of dating. Because I have dated actually an absolutely hilarious gal, and sarcasm was her brand, and it worked with her, but she also knew how to handle me. Like a lot of sarcasm. Sarcasm is the dark side of humor.
Yeah.
She didn't use it that way. She used it that it was genuinely slap happy funny, and she was quirky. She knew how to hold her eyes and hold her mouth and make it funny without it being insulting.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, sarcasm, or not even just sarcasm, just humor in general. I mean, I will personally admit I had to learn how to be I had to learn how to laugh in a relationship.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I grew up in a family serious 99% of the time. We are 1% laugh.
I totally get that about you, man.
Yeah, we like it's work time until like right before you go to bed, and then everything else, and then there's no fun in between.
Yeah.
Courtney,
that's what works with us. You know that, right? Because our energies are opposite.
And Courtney is the opposite, which is why we work. Now, I have since reduced the amount of like seriousness and work that I've put into our relationship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's made me more of who I am, like myself. Like I feel more like myself now than prior, but I didn't have anyone to show me that.
Yeah.
And so I understand why humor is a big one for her.
You know, so just to echo that, I grew up in I'm not going to say serious family, but I grew up in a family where family time was spent usually working. Mm-hmm. It's actually still like that today.
Yeah.
Like the most enjoyable times I've ever had with my family usually involved some type of manual labor. Mm-hmm. And so that note of seriousness.
Yeah.
I did not grow into my sense of humor. I'm going to say my late 20s.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much where I was too. It took me a while. It took me a while to be comfortable laughing around people because I felt like I wasn't it's still work time, you know, or it's still time.
Exactly.
It's still time for me to be serious. It's still time for me to be working on a project in my head while, you know, this is fun time out with people that we enjoy. And I'm still in my head working.
Yeah.
You know?
So men, women, sense of humor in dating. I will tell you, I have been, I'm ashamed to admit out loud how many first dates I've been on. And the statistics even more shocking than that is how many of those first dates did not lead to seconds, because most of my dates are one and onlys. And I'm just quirky like that. Number one fastest way, like from the minute I meet you and like the first 5 minutes, to ensure that there won't be a second date, and this is just a personal thing for me, okay, is if I can't have some laughing. It doesn't have to be slap happy, but like I've got to be able to look at your eyes and I've got to be able to connect with you in a very fun energy sort of way.
Yeah. I mean,
humor.
I've personally just had to learn how to take life a lot less seriously.
True.
And I think it's very attractive in a person who can be serious when it needs to be. It's the time to be serious, but when it's not, enjoy your life and live a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Let's move on to our next segment.
Here, let me just explain.
Set it up.
So basically, we're going to leave you guys with our non-negotiable top 10 list. 5 from me, 5 from him. I have his list, and I'm going to read them. I have not read these yet, and he has my list. So we're going to go back and forth.
Right here.
We're going to go back and forth and read each other's lists. And then actually...
We're going to go one at a time?
Yeah, we're going to go one at a time.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a bonus 6th one.
Yeah.
And the 6th one is something that is new. So something that wasn't on your top 10 list, you know, even 2 years ago. There's no time limit, but something that is new to your top 10 list that wasn't on there before.
Yeah. Mine will be interesting.
All right. So I'm going to read your...
You're going to read one of them?
Here, let's go 5 to 1. Or how do you want to do? 1 to 5?
Mine's not in any particular order.
Neither is mine. All right. So number 1 on his list is mentally and physically fit and has been for a long time.
Right.
Explain.
So, I have been on a fitness journey for 15 years. Mm-hmm. It is part of my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't understand that, it's hard to connect.
It's like a language.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you know, you can meet somebody who's perfect for you in every way. And if they speak sign language and you don't understand it, it's just not a match.
Yeah.
It's just not. And for me, I need someone who is not only reasonably healthy, right? I'm not talking supermodel here or bikini model or
just someone who takes care of
bodybuilding
themselves.
competitor,
Yeah.
just somebody who's pretty svelte. I like to use that word, svelte, for women, and has been that way for some time. Like, I can say, yeah, I food prep from 2 to 4 p.m. on Sundays, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I do it on Mondays at noon. Like, we know what that means. It means chicken, rice, and green vegetables.
Yeah.
Right. And beef and blah, blah, blah. Done. I mean,
Well, yeah. And
it doesn't have to be explained.
I mean,
as one example.
Yeah, I understand, because Courtney and we recently, I would say, restarted our fitness journey together. We were both college athletes, and then when we got done with our sports, kind of let the physical nature of our lives go for a while, and it's something that has been really fun to go on, restart that journey together. So I completely understand why that's important to you.
Yeah. All right, here's yours. Number one. Or first one on the list. Height.
So you can't tell on camera, but I am all of 5'7", 5'8" on a good day, depending on what shoes I'm wearing.
Okay.
But like,
how do you like them in?
I need someone shorter than me.
Okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't it doesn't have to be much, but I don't think it's really like a negative thing. It's just and it's not even about a dominance thing. It's just more that I don't like to feel small.
You're such a dude.
I have to say, I mean, but
I get it.
It's like,
I'm the same.
If you are 5'8", there is no chance I would ever even look your way. And it's just, it's just because of how I'm built.
Yeah. And one of the ladies that was on, it was Shara from Farmington. She's tall. I can't remember for sure, but I want to say 5'9", 10. I don't think she's over 5'10". But her number one item that she listed, and we didn't play it, but I'm gonna say it now. Maybe throw it up if you want to. Her number one item was she has height restriction, and she even called herself, she called herself shallow.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not shallow. There are a lot of gals, especially gals that are taller, that they just won't date a dude that is their height and that they can't wear the heels they want to wear that makes them 6'1".
Yeah.
So they've got to have a guy that is taller than them with heels on.
And I don't
respect.
I don't care if you're
not shallow at all.
I don't care if you're taller than me in heels. All I care about is, flats.
Flats.
Yeah, but whatever.
Barefoot.
All right, your number 2 is must be spontaneous.
Oh my gosh. Move that one to the top of the list. That one's really hot for me right now. That one's really hot for me.
We couldn't date, probably.
No. See, here's the deal. My life is so structured. Anybody who knows me knows. Like, from the time I wake up in the morning until just about, I'm going to say 10 o'clock at night most days, my calendar is in 15-minute increments. No shit, man. Every 15 minutes, I'm looking.
Yeah.
When I get really busy, I have to schedule when I go to the bathroom. Like, I have to remind myself. It's pathetic. So, in my personal life, if I need to be able to have someone that I can call and say, I canceled my appointments for the next 4 hours. I'm getting on my Harley. I'm coming to get you. See you in 15. And I'm going to tell you, dude, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That is about as easy as a 6-foot-tall woman looking for a 6'6" guy that she also likes.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. But I won't compromise. I have to have somebody who's spontaneous. There was a gal that I wanted to, that I actually did ask out. And she didn't like the idea that I had for our first date, and she rejected it. Actually, that's happened to me many times. And I'm okay with that, because for me, that saved me a month of dating to figure out that it's not the right person. If I can just get rejected on the first date, like I'm a month ahead.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let me hit yours. Number 2, work ethic.
Yeah, we already talked about this
We
one.
did. We had.
But like, I need someone who is driven and cares about the work that they do and works hard to achieve that goal or whatever they're doing. And it doesn't have to be forever, and it doesn't always have to be like a certain thing. You could be driven to be a mother. That could be like your goal, your desire. As long as you put all your effort into it and you work hard to be the best mother in the world that you can, like, that's it for me. It doesn't have to be for a $2 million business and, cars and whatever. Just work hard and give 150% to everything you're doing.
Yeah. You said something. You said something without saying it specifically, but I'm going to point it out. Passion. It is one thing to have a grueling, grinding job that you hate and that's miserable. But if you're one of the lucky people in life, and if you're not one of these people, you need to stop what you're doing and go become one of these people. But to be passionate about what you do.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm very blessed. I freaking love my life. I literally do not work for a living. I wear T-shirts, ball caps. Look, I don't even tuck my boots in my jeans half the time. I go to work.
For those of you who are listening on audio, he just lifted his leg up, and it actually, I'm surprised it actually got up to like your eye level.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not so old yet that my hip's gonna pop out of joint.
So
thanks, Ian.
Your number 3 is adventurous.
Okay. The spontaneity and adventurousness kind of go hand in hand for me. If I'm going to schedule a day off, or I'm going to be spontaneous and take an afternoon, look, I love to Netflix and chill, but for me, that's something you do at night, like after 10 p.m. But if I've got a weekend off or a day off, I am not sitting on my ass watching TV. Like, I'm going to be climbing something. I'm going to be on a rope somewhere, on a beach, on a plane, on a Harley, drinking some wine, surfing some waves, on a boat, planes, trains, automobiles. You've got to have a sense of adventurousness. If I was in a relationship with somebody who wanted to go to the beach for a week, I'd lose my mind. I can go to the beach for half a day. That's it. That's all you get from me.
Yep.
I am an action figure. My body is meant and genetically designed to the core of my DNA to be in motion. And I was born that way. Been that way my whole life.
Awesome.
It's a big deal for me. Thanks for asking.
Totally get it.
All right, next for you. Okay, this is a good one. Politics.
Yeah, politics.
I know this about you.
So I 1000% can respect another political viewpoint. I can't date it though.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Everybody needs to hear that.
And it has
respect and acceptance are two different things.
And it also, because it has everything to do with the fact that, first of all, it's polarizing.
True.
But the most important part of the political thing for me is that in politics, there's some like almost identification that goes along with politics. And it's a type, like a personality type almost. I'm not exactly sure if this makes any sense, but it's a type of person, A and B, for whatever political world you're in. And I'm only attracted to type B or A or whatever letters you want to put it on.
So here's where I'm different. For me, it's not, and if I'm misinterpreting what you've said, please correct me. I'm a Republican. I always have been. I always will be. Most small business owners who are conservatives and Christians are Republicans. I don't care if the Republican Party splinters off and becomes something else, then I'll go do that. I have many friends who are, and they are dear friends. They are liberal. They are gay or lesbian. They are not Christian. They are atheist. I don't give a.
Yeah, neither do I.
I still love you.
Neither do I. But
there are some things that are polarizing for me. So it's not about the party. It's about certain things that are polarizing for me. And you know what? There's a couple of them that are so polarizing, I'm not even going to mention them because they're irrelevant for what I'm doing here on the show. But there are some political topics, not political parties, that are polarizing for me. And I am I'm unafraid to make it. In fact, one of these topics is the one and only time that I've been arrested in my life.
Interesting.
Because I was protesting this particular topic.
Let's move that to another.
Moving on.
Let's go to another. We'll talk about that later in another podcast. But
let's do it later.
This is actually what would be my number 6 on my list. But you said huge brains, or I'm guessing intelligence.
Yes. So I like to make a joke because men say I like a woman with huge, and for me it's brains.
100%. Like,
I'm just that guy.
Yeah,
I'm just that guy.
I have to be you have to be on a similar intelligence level. You know, you don't have to be exact, but I think people who are on different intelligence levels tend to not look at things the same way, and that causes a lot of relationship issues.
I'm going to go a step further and say, if I were to be fortunate enough, and I believe that I will be, to be in a committed monogamous relationship that probably would lead to marriage, that woman, if we were to actually be tested, would have a meaningfully higher IQ than my own. When I say huge brains, I'm not messing around, dude. I love freaking smart women.
It's
you ever the bug that's attracted to the fire?
Is there a difference?
It's just fire for me.
Is there a difference for you between street smarts and book smarts?
Yeah. I like them both, and I require both.
Fair enough.
Here we go. Caring and loving. What do you mean by that? I love it.
It's okay.
You don't have mommy issues, do you, Ian?
No. I have a wonderful mother.
Yeah, no, I love these. These are great.
And honestly, I'm attracted to a motherly type girl, a girl who nurturing, caring, someone who. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it further than that, but like that sort of raw ability to understand, nurture, care for, that I don't know why. I wish I could tell you why. Is just naturally attractive to me. And, you know, that's all I have to say about it. It's very important to me. And you know, and also, I have to add this, you know, caring not just to me, but to other people. Someone who can see another human being and understand their world and understand, you know, and I don't know. Am I making any
totally
sense?
Making sense? And
empathetic or
empathy.
Yeah,
empathy,
gratitude, things like that. Yeah,
huge. Gary V. You know how I love Gary V.
Yeah.
He had a podcast here recently specifically talking about the successful business owners and startups for this year they're going to be empathy based.
Yeah.
Oh, powerful podcast.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. And I'm going to splinter very quickly. A woman who is, or a man for that matter, that is nurturing, it does not mean that they're a lay down, pushover, doormat, submissive. My mom, my mom's a boss.
Yeah.
A boss. And she is very nurturing.
Yeah.
To this day. But especially I recognized that when I was a child and becoming a young man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that, like, I was legitimately looking for the mother of my children when I was like,
Ian's trying to make me cry.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I get it, man.
But like,
I get it.
And like, that is so important. I wasn't actively looking like, oh, well, but I mean, I happened to find it, but what I'm saying is that, like, that motherly ability, I don't know. I'm speaking out of my butt here, but like, that caring, nurturing nature about a girl is just a non-negotiable. So number 5 for you is mega raw chemistry.
Oh. Give me a moment to center my zen.
I get this one.
Chapter 1. Undateable.
Coming sometime in the future.
Very near future. Chapter 1 deals with availability. If you're not available to date, you're undateable, period. I don't care what type of bullshit excuse you have. You're busy. You're a single mom, single dad. Look, dude, I work 7 days a week and work out and healthy and I'm a single dad and blah, blah, blah. I have time to date. All right. Number 2, chapter 2. And by the way, there's 16 chapters in the book. Chapter 2 is exclusively about raw chemistry. Now I'm going to be bold here, and I'll certainly upset some psychologists. Don't care. Probably even some spiritual leaders. Definitely don't care. If raw chemistry is not in your top 5, it's because you've never really experienced it.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry.
It's in my top 10, but it's
top 10.
Yeah, whatever.
Top 5, top 10.
Yeah.
For me, when okay, so I'm going to go a little extreme here, but I'm going to do it to prove a point. If the chemistry with your person is on point, you could be walked out in the middle of a football field in a dome and it's pitch black and your person is somewhere on that field and you can't see them. You will walk right to them.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Raw chemistry for me is it's more than just a sexual desire or a sexual attraction. It's more than the sensation of physical touch. It is a spiritual and an ESP. I like to call it Thor's hammer.
Yeah. Raw chemistry for me is you don't need to be with that person, but there's nothing else in the entire world you'd rather be doing.
Yeah, it's you can't help it.
Doing whatever. Like they're
Yeah.
doing mindless tasks. This is what this is one to grow on.
Yes.
And this is, just to end it out real quick here, this is something fun. This is something that is on our top 10 list that wasn't on it before at some point.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yours is long hair and a gorgeous face.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm 45.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not have a dad bod. But I'm going to tell you something, cowboy. What is it, Toby Keith? I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Yeah.
I still look good, but I can see the signs of my aging. And when it comes to my attraction to a woman, I just know what feels good to me, and it's long hair. And by long hair, I'm going to say to the shoulder.
Yeah, at a minimum. Whatever.
Yeah, that's a minimum. Yeah, to the shoulder or longer. And as it relates to aging, a woman who has, for me, this is for my taste, a woman who has a beautiful face, which, in this day and age includes great skincare.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm a dude, and even I put Renutriv or whatever the crap is that the gal said I should put on my face. I mean, construction workers do it, A woman who has a beautiful face and great skin, knows how to handle her makeup and her, I'm definitely a sucker for eyes. I love, striking eyes. It's just my thing, man. That's my jam.
It's weird when you mention makeup.
And the older I get, the more it becomes true.
It's weird when you mention makeup because that's like, I am not a makeup fan.
No, I'm not either. But when that,
I just want to throw that out there. Like, I prefer no makeup 100% of the time. I don't know. It's just something for me, but that's a topic for another podcast.
Well, and so I'll just echo. I prefer natural beauty.
Same.
Don't get me wrong. A skin tight black dress, high heels, ruby red fingernails, and red lipstick on a Saturday night. Like, bring a mop because you're going to mop me up. But day to day, right, going to the grocery store, picking the kids up, no makeup.
Totally.
And you still got to look good.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
All right, so here's your bonus.
One to grow on.
And I like it. This is a big topic. Religion.
Yeah, it's religion for me. Like, I grew up in a family that, like, religion wasn't pushed on me. It was part of our family, but they never made me go to church. They asked if I wanted to go to church. Mm-hmm. They asked if I wanted to take part in Sunday school and stuff like that. But my answer was always no, just because I was focusing on other things in my life. But now that I have learned more about it, and it's become a very important thing in my life, that I'm happy to say that I'm glad I found it now, and it definitely became a non-negotiable after becoming a bigger part of my life.
Yeah. So religion, it requires some explanation. I don't like the word religion, and the reason is because I'm not against it. Okay.
Yeah, religion, faith, whatever you want to call it.
So let me start over.
Spirituality.
Let me start over. A lot of people will put religion, and in a town like St. Louis, they'll specifically say the word
faith.
Catholic,
yeah.
Right?
There you
go. Because we're predominantly a Catholic community. I try to avoid titles, even in dating.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, it does become appropriate. I am a Christian man. Mm-hmm. It is my title. I am comfortable being held accountable to that standard. as a single person, as a business owner, as a parent, and in a dating relationship. I also am a filthy, dirty, rotten sinner. And I'm not Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm non-denominational, to use religious terms. And by admitting that, I'm simply saying that I'm a human. I am a fallen creature under heaven, as we all are and have been since the beginning of time, if you choose to believe what I believe. And I have become comfortable. Not complacent, but I have become comfortable and accepting in the last couple years of my faults. And
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
We level on that one. Yeah.
Many years ahead of me.
Yeah.
And when it comes to dating, I would love to find the most wonderful, spiritual, God-fearing, nurturing, blah, 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 blah. And then I have to remember that it is very probable, perhaps, that I am going to attract a twin flame. In other words, somebody who has faults like mine.
Yeah.
Might cuss a little too much and might like bourbon a little too much, but at the same time, that person is going to have a big heart and very empathetic.
Well, to your point, for me, it's not who you are now; it's the pursuit of who you are going to be and who you are striving to be. I don't care what you are doing now. I care about who you want to be. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's where, part of what religion is to me is that, like, accepting that you are an imperfect person, but also pursuing the best that you can be and the best person that you can be.
And this is where, we can wrap up here, but this is where you and I have a lot to offer to a podcast like this, as well as the people we've had come on, is our age difference. I think, a man, because you and I are 20 years apart, I think, yeah. Right? Something. And I'm not going to speak for you, I'll only speak for me. People would argue, and they'd mostly be right, that once you get to my age, like, you're kind of the dude you are. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the dude I'm going to be until I'm dead.
Yeah.
Whatever age, hopefully at least late 80s is what I'm shooting for. Hopefully 90s. I'd love to hit 100. I'm living like I'm going to hit 100, right? Yeah. With eating and whatever. And when you're young, and I'm especially going to speak for women here, women are looking for a man with potential, a man that is in the process of becoming what he's ultimately going to become when he gets to be my age, for example. Mm-hmm. Boy, I could really open a can of worms there because of a direct message that I received actually yesterday. This was from a lady, she didn't say, but I'm presuming in her 50s. And she talked about this podcast and how much she liked it. And she recognized your and I's age difference, as well as, the people we were having here as co-hosts. Mm-hmm. But her question was, well, what about men that are 55 years or older? Like, are they like me? Are they even more changed and more mature? Like, I'll be more mature 10 years from now than I am now. I don't know, maybe not. Well, but I will definitely be a changed human.
Well, yeah, change is inevitable, but I guess
and it is good.
So I think what she's asking is that do people stop pursuing a better version of themselves at a certain point? Do they peak? I
love the way you worded that.
Do they peak?
I love that.
Do they peak?
That's the right way to say it.
And that's what she's asking. Do people peak do men peak at 55? There is no answer. I'm sorry. I don't know who sent you this message, but I'm really sorry. It depends on the person. There are people, like, I don't plan on ever retiring.
Me either.
And same with my dad. Other people are retiring right now. They're 26 years old and they're done.
You know what?
And it has nothing to do with a job. It has nothing to do with anything. All it is that some people choose to stop pursuing a better version of themselves.
She didn't send a video, but I'm going to give this young lady some props here. This is from Karen. And I'm giving this to her because I know she's watching. Wondering how this point of view changes for people, men, older than you. I find it interesting to hear the point of view from your age and Ian's age, who is just so young, as she's saying about you. But I wonder for men who are 55 to 65.
Mm-hmm.
And then she and I had some very healthy dialogue. She points out, and this is a point I agree with, I think that so many marriages fall apart after the kids are raised and older single people kind of just make sense. So what she's saying, and we have a long string here, but what she's saying here, and I see this time and time again, and I see this especially in my real estate career because I'm a realtor, all my friends that bought their homes with me when they were your age up until 30, I hear from them again at 35, starting at 35, because now they're divorcing. And those people, a large percentage of them, seriously, a large percentage of them stay single into their 50s.
So Courtney asked me a very interesting question yesterday, and we can talk about this further in another podcast.
Yeah.
But she asked me, who is your top priority once you have kids? Is it your spouse or is it your children?
I want to talk about this.
Asked her,
it is a big topic.
I asked her, or I said to her, I have no idea. And she convinced me that is 100% your number one priority is your spouse.
Absolutely.
Without question.
Absolutely.
I am so adamant, like the way she explained this to me, I am so adamant on this now. Like, changed my perspective 100%.
Yeah.
Complete 180. But
it's a huge topic. Yeah.
And I think that's what she was talking to you about. After the kids are done, the priority drops off and you have to reestablish each other as top priority, when if it was you guys were top priority the whole time, just stay that way.
You want to know something? That's why my parents have had such a, or at least what I perceive as having such a great 40-year marriage, because I was never the priority.
And now
my parents, dude, I can remember being a teenager and my parents dated like they were teenagers.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
It's critical.
And
it's a must.
I like I said, she completely flipped my perspective on it. I was kind of leaning towards children, but
no,
you and her, or him and him, or her and her, whoever, you are going to be in each other's lives forever. The kids are going to leave. They're always going to be in your life, but they're going to leave and start their own lives with their own person someday, or hopefully, or, they're going to create a life outside of just the relationship that you have with them. Your job is to prepare them for that life and prepare them to succeed, but your job is not to support them so much that they can't stand on their own 2 feet. And it's important that when they leave the house, that you can still say that you and your person are top priority.
Totally agree. So next podcast, we are going to have someone who's incredibly inspirational. Probably, I'm going to say, the hardest working person, woman that I know that's in my world today.
And I'll be back in my normal chair.
Be back in the normal producer chair.
Yeah, I kind of miss it.
I'm really pumped. I have a feeling that we're going to have a deep
we're gonna have.
Deep
So apparently we're
conversation.
gonna have a good episode. So
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Watch
That's coming.
next time,
That's
please.
next. That's next. All right.
All right.
Peace out, brother.
see ya.